Have you guys ever noticed when you burn the enemies in the game, they yell like crazy, like a weird noise? But that noise does feel like a melody in your ears, doesn't it? No? Just me? Okay, you know what? Ignore that. But if you do want to hear those yelling noises of burning enemies, well, you might want to try this build because this is going to burn them left, right, and center all the time. That's the fun part of it. It's absolutely hilarious. This is probably the most fun build I've ever made. Now, that's a huge claim because I have made a lot of fun builds and also weird builds, and this falls into the same category of that. So I'm not going to waste much of your time. I'm going to show you the build, but first I do need to address the modifiers because they do play an important role to make this build work. And if you're not taking advantage of this build in this season, then you're missing out. You really need to try this out. So let me show you. Now, like I already mentioned, the modifiers do play an important role. Now, I am using the active modifier, which is overdrive, because when you activate that, you're going to be hitting that max momentum. You get more weapon damage, skill damage, rate of fire, and most importantly, unlimited ammo. But also, your shield becomes invulnerable because you're overcharged, right? When you're overcharged, your shield becomes invulnerable, and also your skills are overcharged too, which will be very handy. And I'm going to explain that later on when I'm actually talking about the build. But for the passive modifiers, we're using microwave coils because this is going to burn the enemies when you pulse them. There's a 50% of chance, but it burns them constantly pretty much all the time. And that's the fun part of this particular modifier there. And we're taking advantage of this and burning our targets constantly. And that is synergizing really well with our build. Now, also, we're using critical momentum because, when you crit, you get momentum, so that's kind of nice. And also the critical recovery, so when you crit, you do get kind of like an armor regen, which is very handy. And so that's our all the modifiers here. Now, as for the weapons, I actually chose the Pyromaniac here because I don't want it to use Lexington all the time in every single build because it's that good. And many people don't have the Lexington, okay? So Pyromaniac will be a great choice here. Plus, we do want its damage talent, which is perfectly ignite. I mean, you can use Lexington and choose something like a flatline talent or the ignited talent too if you want to. I would rather choose flatline over ignited, which is going to be more reliable than ignited, to be honest. But the perfectly ignited is a great damage boost, which is like 30% of amplified damage to burn targets. And we are causing the burn because of our pulse, but also our gear set is helping spread the burn even further, and we have a longer duration on the burn, so it's not like applies and goes away. It stays there for some time, so we get that time, like that window to absolutely melt the target, and that's enough time to just take down anybody because of the damage that you get from this. It's crazy, right? So that's why I'm choosing the Pyromaniac. By the way, you can also use the link laser points on this if you want to go for that route. You can do that, and if you just want to use Lexington, then you can just use Lexington. But I chose the Pyromaniac. My weapon is not max in the expertise and stuff. It's just 1%, so keep that in mind. Whatever damage you're seeing, that's what it's doing. It can do even further, especially if you have an optimized build. I actually don't have an optimized build. Now, speaking of build, I do need to talk about the specialization before I actually go to the build, because the specialization does also play an important role in this build too. Like, I'm using the sharpshooter specialization in this build, and the sharpshooter does provide you with the recon drone, and that recon drone is going to help us pulse all the targets easily. Like, you can just use the drone and you don't have to worry about literally nothing because everybody's going to get pulsed from the drone, and the drone stays for a very long time. And also the range of the drone pulsing your targets is very, very high. Like, sometimes the drone's going to pulse someone that is in a different district, which is kind of crazy. And also when it's overcharged, it's going to pulse even further. Like, the range is increased as well. Now, also one more thing I think not many of you know about this, which is when you hit the overcharge, since it's a pulse, it also gained that weakness exploit kind of talent when it's on overcharge, that is, which is 15% of amplified damage increased for you and your allies towards the pulsed enemies. So that works for your drone. So whenever you're at overcharge, your drone is pulsing the enemies, you're gaining 15% of amplified damage too. So if you didn't know that, now you know. You might want to hit that like button for that. Now, this is the build over here, right? As you can see, I know it makes no sense. It looks a bit weird, but give me a minute. It'll make sense. It is working. That's why I'm making the build in the first place. I know it's ECLIPSE protocol. It's like a CC support build, but we're using it as a crit, like a damage build, and it's working. That's the whole point of it. Now, let me show you the backpack first, because the backpack gives you more damage for using it, like 30% of amplified damage on any status affected targets. But we are using fire mostly, like the burn. So yeah, we're gonna get this easily, but it will work in any status effect, not just burn. Anything will work. Now, also one more thing you have to keep in mind, since it's an ECLIPSE protocol gear set, it always comes with a skill tier. The yellow, yeah. So you have to get something with like crit chance or crit damage, so you can change this to weapon damage or blue core armor, that is. Now, for people who don't know what ECLIPSE protocol does, let me kind of give you a brief here. So 2-piece gives you 15% of status effect, which is nice because the more status effect you have, the more duration you'll get on your status effect. For example, in this case is burn, so the enemies will burn for longer duration. You also get 15% of skill haste and also 30% of hazard protection. The hazard protection is nice. We get 10% from our watch. So technically, I guess we have 40% of hazard protection here in this build. So not bad. Now, 4-piece is where all the magic is happening, which is basically the spread of your status effect. It doesn't give you any damage boost or anything, but whenever you kill a status affected target, it spreads that status effect within the 10 meters of the enemies that you killed that had that particular status effect applied on them. In this case, it's fire. So when the recon drone is going to pulse and burn enemies, and when you kill those burned enemies, it's going to spread that fire even further to nearby enemies, and now everybody's burning. So you just have the damage amplified damage, whatever you have on your build, you're applying on them and you're just melting them, right? So that's how the build kind of works. Now, I can use something like Memento or even Ninja, but I didn't want to use that because, first of all, I wanted this build to be more like a set and forget and point and shoot. With Memento, you have to go chase around Memento trophies. Plus, also, Memento is good though. I mean, it does give you damage, bonus armor, regen also. So kind of nice there in terms of survivability. However, a lot of people may not have the Memento backpack. Also, the Ninja backpack as well. Like you can use like 3 pieces of ECLIPSE protocol and then use some other high-end pieces, kind of give yourself more kind of damage maybe. But this backpack, the ECLIPSE protocol, with the 30% of amplified damage, it's kind of hard to beat, to be honest. Now, as for other pieces of my ECLIPSE protocol, I have the gloves here with weapon damage and crit damage. For my knee pads, I got armor and crit damage. For my holster, I got weapon damage and crit damage. Yes, my crit damage is low on many of these pieces. It's because I don't have resources to optimize them. I'm actually out of resources, but also it gives you an idea of how good the build is, even though my build is not really optimized or even have like crazy expertise. Like my Pyromaniac only got 1% expertise. So if you're somebody with 20 plus and beyond, then you're going to do even better. Like whatever damage you're going to be doing, it's going to be way higher than mine, right? Now, as for the high-end piece, I chose a Bellstone here. That's more like a personal choice. You don't have to use this exactly if you don't like it. I like the Bellstone's 1% passive regen. I know it's nothing crazy, but I like it. That's my choice. You can choose something like a Sheshka or even Fenris and get more damage, or even Grupo, but I'm choosing the Bellstone. It's like my choice. Take it as a template. You can change whatever you feel comfortable with, okay? Now, for the talent, I chose Obliterate because it is a crit build and we are critting very easily. So Obliterate kind of makes sense here. We have crit damage, crit chance, and crit damage mod. And of course, armor core there. Now, as for the mask, I chose Catharsis here because, I mean, I needed some survivability, okay? We got that damage, but we need to survive to do the damage. I always say, if you can survive anything, you can kill anything. So since we're not using Memento and not just relying on Memento, slapping Memento and calling the God mode and all that, we're not doing that, right? So Catharsis helps there. And it helps really well because it not just heals you, but also increases your damage, like weapon damage even further. So that's kind of nice. And again, it's a set and forget. You don't have to go around chase Memento trophies. That's the whole point of this build. Kind of set and forget, point and shoot build. So you wear this, you take damage, you get healed, and also you do more damage. So that's why I chose it. Now, of course, you can use something like a Vile Mask. Vile Mask will be awesome too, because it gives you that extra tick damage, and overall the damage will be kind of higher. But like I said, I need something to survive basically because the enemies do a lot of damage to us nowadays, and they even flank us like crazy, right? So that's why I think Catharsis is doing a great job here. So that's basically the build here. Now, if I show you my stats, you can see that I have 43% crit chance, which some of you might say it's low. That's on the Pyromaniac, by the way. But it's not, because when you take down the blacklisted enemies, you get 10% more crit chance. So we basically have like 53% crit chance. Now, crit damage is a bit also kind of lowish, but it doesn't matter. We have plenty of damage, too much damage coming from the amplified damage, that is, plus my build is not optimized. So yeah, you're getting damage bonus from your backpack, which is 30% of amplified damage. You're also getting damage from your perfectly ignited talent, that is also 30% of amplified damage. You're getting extra damage from your pulse, the overcharge pulse, which is 15% of amplified damage. And then you're also getting damage from obliterate talent and catharsis mask at the same time. So yeah, you do have a lot of source of damage coming and helping you in this build. Like, it's seriously a lot of damage. So give it a try if you haven't already. This is a fun build in this season. I feel like it because I'm just running around with a drone burning everything. You just have to keep in mind, because you're gonna burn some enemies that are very far away. So be ready to pick a fight. So yeah, it's just working really well. Give it a try, then you'll understand how fun this build is. Again, fun being the important factor. If you're not having fun in a video game, then seriously, what are you doing? So give it a go. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. You can change things around if you want. You can use Memento, take it as a template, you know, move a piece here, there, whatever. You can do that. Let me know in the comment though that what do you prefer to use, whether it's the Memento, Ninja, or anything else, or Vile Mask for that matter. So yeah, do that. And that's basically the build. Subscribe if you want and leave a like, I guess. That helps the channel really. And I will see you guys in the next one. Till then, peace.